Hello students, so today we are going to solve 10th standard SSC Geometry March 2020 paper. Okay, so I'll be showing you the complete solution with explanation. So let's start. So question number 1A is MCQ. Let's see the first one. Out of the following, which is a Pythagoras triplet? Okay, so your answer is B, that is 3, 4, 5. Okay, the reason being pi square is 25 and 3 square plus 4 square, that is 9 plus 16, that is also 25. So what we can say is 3 square plus 4 square equals to 5 square. So it forms a Pythagoras triplet. Okay. The next is there are two circles of radii 5.5 and 3.5 which touch each other externally. Okay, so for the external, the property is the distance between their centers is nothing but the sum of their radii, that is 5.5 plus 3.5, 3.3. Okay, so that is 8.8 centimeters. So the correct option is C, 8.8. Okay, the next is the distance between the point -3, 4 and origin. Okay, so you're finding the distance between the points and origin. So if one of the point is origin, the distance is equal to under root x square plus y square. Okay, so that is the square of x, that is 9, square of 4 is 16, under root 25, that is 5 units. So answer is D, 5. Okay, so let's see the fourth one. To find the volume of cube of side 3. So the formula for volume is side cube, that is 3 cube, that is 27 centimeter cube. So the option is A, 27 cube. Okay. Okay, chalo, let's see the next one. Question number 2. Question number B. Okay. Now see the first one. You to find the ratio of the corresponding sides of similar triangle is given as 3 upon 5. You to find the ratio of their areas. Okay. So they have given the ratio of the sides S1 upon S2 as 3 by 5. You have to find the ratio of their areas, and the important thing is, students, here the triangles are similar. So when the triangles are similar, the ratio of their areas is equal to the square of the ratio of their sides. Okay, so this property is called as areas of similar triangles. Okay, so the sides are in the ratio 3:5, so it is 3:5 square. So answer is 9:25. So the ratio of their areas is 9:25. Okay, now for the second one, students, I have already done the figure. They have given the side of the square is 10 and you do find the diagonal. Okay, so we know that it is a square, so all sides are equal. So they have given the sides as 10, so you want to find the diagonal. So you can find the diagonal by using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, that is one method, or you can use the other method as using the formula. Okay, so what is the formula? Now this formula is only for square. Okay, for a square, diagonal equal to root 2 into side. Yes, this is the formula for the diagonal of a square. So that is root 2 into 10. So answer is 10 root 2 centimeters. Okay, so you can use this, or you can even go with Pythagoras theorem. Okay, Let's see the next one. They are given ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral and angle B is given as 110. You have to find the measure of angle D. Okay, so they have given that quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic. So what is the property of cyclic quadrilateral? That angle B plus angle D is 180. Okay, so the reason what you have to write is opposite angles of cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so they have given angle B as 110. So 110 plus angle D is 180. So angle D is 180 minus 110. That is 70 degree. So the value of angle D is 70 degree. Okay. Let's see the fourth sum. You have to find the slope of the points, slope of a line passing through points A and B. Okay, so point A is given as 2, 3 and B is given as 4, 7. So the first point we are taking it as x1, y1 and the second point is x2, y2. So the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, so what you have to do is just substitute the value, that is 7 minus 3 upon 4 minus 2. So that is 4 upon 2. Answer is 2. So the final answer is slope of line AB is 2. Okay, we are just using the formula and directly substituting. Now question number 2A is activity, students, so you have to just fill the boxes. Okay, so let's see the first one. So we have a tangent PS, you can see the figure, PS is tangent and PQR is secant. So here what we are using is a tangent secant theorem. So that is PS square equals to PQ into PR. Here will come PR, PQ into PR. Now if you see the figure, PR from the figure, PR is equals to PQ plus QR. Okay, so here there is a plus sign, PQ plus here will come QR. So after we substitute the value, we get 3.6 into bracket 3.6 plus 6.4. So 3.6 plus 6.4 is 10. So 3.6 into 10 is 36 and PS is nothing but square root of 36, that is 6. So this is the final answer. Okay. Let's see the next activity. Yes, it is based on trigonometry. They have given the value of sec theta and you have to find the value of tan theta. So we have a relation between sec and tan, that is the identity. What is that identity? 1 plus tan square theta is sec square theta. Okay, so the next is 1 plus tan square theta equals to 25 upon 7 bracket square. So tan square theta is, after squaring 25 upon 7 we get 625 upon 49. After shifting 1 we get minus 1 over here. The next step is LCM. So we get 625 minus 49 upon 49. The next box, that is the value of 625 minus 49, that is 576. Okay, and so this is what, this is nothing but the value of tan square theta is 576 upon 49. So tan theta is going to be the square root of 576 upon 49. So that answer I'll write here. The square root of 576 is nothing but 24. Okay, so tan theta is 24 upon 7. Okay. The next is based on circle chapter. Okay. So if you see from the figure, they have given two arcs. One is a minor arc and another is a major arc. So the minor arc is an arc whose measure is less than 180. So you have to write down minor arc. So that is arc AXB. So arc AXB is the minor arc and the measure is 100 degree. And the other arc, that is arc AYB. Arc AYB is major arc, and the formula for major arc is 360 minus minor arc, means the measure of minor arc. So that is 360 minus 100, that is 260 degree. So here in this box I'm writing 260 degree. Okay. So yes, we finished the activity part. Now let's see the B part. Okay, so they are given the figure in triangle PQR. Okay, so let's write in triangle PQR, they have given NM is parallel to RQ. This is given to us. So we can use a property of BPT. What is that? PN upon RN equals to PM upon MQ. This is called as the basic proportionality theorem. We call it as BPT. Now we have to just substitute the values. So that is Pn upon 8. The value of Rn is given as 8 equals to Pm, that is 15, upon Mq is 10. So when you solve this, you get the value of Pn is 8 into 15 upon 10. Okay, so after we reduce, we get answer as 12. So the answer for Pn is 12. Okay, so this is a basic sum on BPT, basic proportionality theorem. Okay, now let's see the next one. Students, the next sum is very important. Okay, now this is a sum which is based on geometric mean. Now if you see the figure, okay, we are talking about a right angle triangle. So in triangle MNP, angle MNP is given as 90 degree. Okay, and if you see the figure, from the vertex of 90 degree, means I'm talking about this vertex. From this vertex, we are drawing perpendicular to the hypotenuse. Yes, so NQ is perpendicular to MP given. Okay, so only then we can use the geometric mean property. Okay, so what is the geometric mean property? NQ square equals to MQ into PQ. Geometric mean. Okay, now what? Just substitute the values. NQ is 9 and PQ is 4, that is 36. Okay, so the value of NQ is square root of 36, that is 6. The value of NQ is 6. Okay, the sum is based on geometric mean. Okay, the next sum is of circles. They're given M is the center and KL is the tangent. Okay, so if you see the figure, KL is a tangent, so we can say that this angle is 90 because this is the radius and this is a tangent. So we know the property that the tangent is perpendicular to radius. So that is the reason for 90 degree. Okay, so make sure that the 90 degree is not given. We are proving that angle as 90 degree. Okay, so in triangle MLK, angle MLK equals to 90 degree. Yes, reason tangent perpendicular to radius. Now since it is 90 degree, we can definitely use Pythagoras theorem, that is mk square equals to ml square plus lk square. The reason is Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem. Okay, now what? Just substitute the values. The value of mk is given as 12. We don't know the value of ml, that is nothing but the radius, and that is the question. We have to find out the radius, and kl value is 6 root 3. 6 root 3 square. Okay, now 144, that is square of 12 ml square. Now on the right hand side, students, I'm just showing you how do we find a square of 6 root 3. Okay, we have done this in 9th standard, but still I'll teach you. Now when you're finding square of 6, it is 36, and square of root 3 is going to be 3. Okay, so that is 108. This is how we find square. So it is 108. So ml square is going to be 144 minus 108. That is 36. So the value of ml is square root of 36, that is 6. So the answer is radius is equal to 6. Okay, radius is equal to 6. A very simple sum based on circle and Pythagoras theorem. Okay, let's see the fourth sum. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of the segment joining the 2 points they have given. Okay, so we'll just name the points as A and B, that is 22, 20, and B is 0, 16. Okay, now you have to find out the coordinates of midpoint. So using midpoint formula. What is the midpoint formula? X equals to x1 plus x2 upon 2, and y equals to y1 plus y2 upon 2. So what we have to do, we have to just substitute the values. X1 plus x2 is 22 plus 0 upon 2. So that is 22 plus 0 is 22 upon 2. That is 11. And for y, we have to substitute the value y1 plus y2. That is 20 plus 16 upon 2. That is 36 upon 2. That is 18. So the final answer is the coordinates of the midpoint is 11, 18. Okay, we are using directly midpoint formula. Okay, yes. Now see the next sum. Okay, it is based on application of trigonometry. A person is standing at a distance of 80 meters from a church. So I have already done the figure. So here you see the figure, AB is nothing but the church. Okay, and the distance between the church and the person is 80 meters, and the angle of elevation is 45 degree. The question is you have to find out the height of the church. Okay, so before we do the calculations, we have to write down what stands for what in the figure. So let AB be the church and C be the point of observation, or you can even say C be the point of the position of the person. Okay, so we have to use here tan 45 because you have to find out opposite, that is AB, and the base is given, and we know that tan theta, okay, is opposite upon base, so AB upon BC. Tan 45 is 1, we have to find out AB. BC is 80, so After we do cross multiplication, I get answer as 80 meters. So the answer is height of the church is 80 meters. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, the next question is again based on activities. Okay, let's see the so the first part, students, is this in triangle XDE. Okay, in triangle XDE, they have given PQ is parallel to DE. Okay, so if you can see the figure, we are talking about PQ. This side is parallel to DE. So we write XP upon PD is equals to XQ upon QE. So I'll write here XQ upon QE. Okay, the next we are talking about triangle is XEF. Okay, we are talking about triangle XEF. So in triangle XEF, they have given that QR is parallel to EF. QR is parallel to EF. So we can say that XQ upon QE, this will be QE, XQ upon QE is equals to XR upon RF. XR upon RF. Okay, now if I take the first and the second, we see that XQ upon QE is the common ratio. So I can say that XP upon PD is equals to XR upon RF. We can say that yes, XP upon PD equals to XR upon RF. So if you see the figure, okay, we are talking about XP upon PD equals to XR upon RF. Okay, so if these two ratios are equal, I can say that this side is parallel to this side. So that is PR is parallel to DF, that is converse of BPT. Converse of BPT. Okay, so 2 times we are using BPT and 1 time we are using converse. Okay, and one more thing, students, in this particular box, yes, the reason is going to be BPT. Yes, we have to fill this box also. The reason is BPT, basic proportionality theorem. Okay. Okay, the next question is we have to prove that ABCD is a parallelogram. Now, students, we have 2 methods to prove this. Now, since it is an activity, they have already given slope. We can even prove that ABCD is a parallelogram by proving opposite sides equal. So there you have to use distance formula. Here we are using slope. Okay, so they have already substituted the values of all the slopes. You have to just solve further. Okay, so let's see the first one, that is slope of AB is 2 minus 1 upon 8 minus 6. So that is 1 upon 2. The next is slope of BC, that is 4 minus 2 upon 9 minus 8. So that is going to be 2. Slope of CD is minus 1 upon minus 2. If I reduce, I will get 1 upon 2. Slope of DA is going to be 2 upon 1. So what I see is slope of AB here. Slope of AB is equals to slope of CD. Okay, so that is what I'm going to write down in the next box. Slope of AB is equals to slope of CD, and slope of BC is equals to slope of DA. Slope of BC is equals to slope of DA. Okay, now if the slopes are equal, we can say that the sides are parallel. So I can say that AB is parallel to CD and BC is parallel to DA. Okay, and if opposite sides are parallel, we can say that it is a parallelogram. So here we proved that ABCD is a parallelogram by proving slope. Okay, opposite sides having equal slope means opposite sides are parallel. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, so the next is, they have given S as the midpoint. I have already done the figure. The question is you to find out QR. So students, in a triangle, if they have given a median in the figure, in this figure they have given PS as the median, so it has to be Apollonus theorem. Okay, so let's do the proving. In triangle PQR, PS is median. So what is the Apollonus theorem? PQ square plus PR square equals to twice of the median square plus twice of QS square. So this property is called as Apollonus theorem. Apollonus theorem. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to just substitute the values. Okay, so let us substitute the values, which values are given to us. Let's see, they have given the value of PQ, that is 11 square. They have given PR, that is 17 square. Here you have to find out QR. So PS is given, so 2 into 13 square plus 2 into QS square as it is. Okay, so let us do the squares. 121, this is 289. Now this is 2 into 169. So first we find square and then we multiply by 2. Okay, okay, so 121 plus 289 is 410, and 2 into 169 is 338. That is twice of QS square. So twice of QS square is 410 minus 338. That is equals to 22. QS square equals to 72 upon 2. That is 36. So if QS square is 36, QS is going to be square root of 36. That is 6. But students, the sum doesn't end here. We found QS. If you see the figure, we just got this value QS. The question is you have to find out QR, the total. Okay, so since S is the midpoint, last step, what I say is QR equal to double of QS, because S is the midpoint. So that is 2 into 6, that is 12 is the side. Okay, so this is the first sum, okay, of this. Now students, the second sum is a theorem. Okay, so this theorem, I'll just tell you the page number where it belongs to. It is on page number 53 of textbook. Okay, textbook page 53. Okay, yes, this theorem is there. That is tangent from external points are congruent. We have to prove that. Okay, textbook page number 53. Okay, now students, the next sum is of construction. Okay, let us see the sum. You have to construct a circle of radius 4.1, and from the center we have to take a distance of 7.3. From there you have to construct tangents. So this sum is based on point exterior to the circle. So we know that when the point is in the exterior of the circle, we can draw two congruent tangents. Okay, so how do we do the construction? Let's see. Okay students, so already I have measured 4.1 on my compass. So we have to draw a circle of radius 4.1. Okay, so let's draw a circle of radius 4.1. Okay, so here we have a circle of radius 4.1. The center is O. Okay, now we have to take a point P at a distance of 7.3 centimeters from the center. So from the center, I'll measure 7.3 centimeters. This point is P. And the question is, from point P, we have to draw two tangents to the circle. Okay, so the property says that from an external point, we can have two congruent tangents. So how do we do it? First, we have to draw perpendicular bisector of segment OP. So with more than half, we are cutting arcs up and down from point O and from point P. Okay, so with this we get the perpendicular bisector of OP. So let me show 90 degree and it is perpendicular bisector. So these two parts are equal. I'll name this point as point Q. Now from point Q, you have to measure up to the center and cut two arcs. Okay, and from point P, we have to join these two arcs. So we get two congruent tangents. Let me name the points as A and B. So the footnote will be PA and PB are the required tangents. Okay. Okay. So I hope all of you have understood how do we do the construction. So now let's start with the next sum, that is sum number 4. Okay, so here we have a metallic cuboid of measure 16 by 11 by 10. Okay, so that is nothing but a cuboid. This is a cuboid. Okay, is melted to make coins. So when I say a coin, the shape of the coin is like this. When I say a coin, the coin is somewhat like this. Okay, so it is nothing but a cylinder. Yes, the coin is nothing but a cylinder, and they have given the dimensions of cylinder also, means the coin also. The thickness and the diameter is given as 2 mm and 2 centimeters. So the thickness, so let me write over here for coin. Okay, thickness means height. The height is given as 2 mm and the diameter is given as 2 centimeters. So radius is 1 centimeter. Okay, now the height is given as 2 mm. So we'll convert into centimeters. So that is 0.2 centimeter. Okay, why? Because the rest all the terms are given in centimeters. And the question is how many coins can be made? Okay, so we'll directly write down the formula and we'll substitute the values. Number of coins equals to volume of cuboid upon volume of one coin. Okay, now let us substitute the values. First let me write down the formula. Volume of cuboid is L into B into H. Coin is in a form of a cylinder, so the formula is going to be pi r square H. Okay, so let us substitute the values. 16 into 11 into 10. Pi is 22 by 7. Radius is 1. 1 square is 1 only, so I'll just write down 1 only once, and this is 0.2. Okay, now before doing any calculation, students, what I'm going to do is let me first shift 7, so that will go in the numerator, and if I remove this decimal, I will have 10 in the numerator. Okay, so I'm not going to do any calculations before I shift this. So what I'll get is 7 into 16 into 11 into 10. Now I have 22 into 1, no need to write down, into 2. Okay, so this is going to make your calculations much more easier. So let us reduce and see what answer we get. 1 5, this is 1 2, this is 1 8. Okay, so we have final answer as, and one more thing students, we have one more 0 here. Yes, there is one more 10 over here. Yes, that 10, yes, we need to take. Yes, so now we have 7 into 8 into 5 into 10. So 7 into 8 into 5 into 10. So the final answer is 2800. So we can make 2800 coins, okay, from a cuboid. Okay, a typical sum based on mensuration. Okay, so let's see the next one. Okay, now students, this is going to be a very important sum. Okay, now they are given PQ is a segment parallel to one side of a triangle, that is PQ is parallel to BC, and they have told that PQ divides the triangle into two parts having equal area. So can I say the area of triangle PQR and area of quadrilateral PBCQ? Actually PBCQ is nothing but a trapezium. Okay, they both have equal area. So see how we write. Area of triangle APQ is same as area of trapezium. I'll put a quadrilateral sign. PBCQ, that is equals to x square units. Okay, so what will be the area of the whole triangle? Area of triangle ABC is going to be x plus x, that is 2x square units, right? The total area, I'm talking about this total area. The total area is going to be x plus x, 2x. Okay, now let us prove the triangles similar. Okay, now they have given that PQ is parallel to BC. Okay, so see the figure. Can I take this angle P over here equal to this angle B? These are nothing but corresponding angles. I'm putting a dot, and this angle Q, where I'm putting a cross, will be equal to this angle C. These are also called as corresponding angles. So we are proving these two triangles similar. So what are those two triangles? We are talking about the big triangle, that is triangle ABC and triangle APQ. Okay, in these two triangles, what is equal? Let's see. We are talking about angle ABC is congruent to angle APQ, and we are talking about angle ACB is congruent to angle AQP. Both are nothing but corresponding angles. Okay, now even if you see students, angle A is common angle. Okay, over here you can see the figure. Yes, angle A is also there, which is common angle. You can even prove by that. Okay, so I choose here proving by taking two corresponding angles. So that is triangle ABC is similar to triangle APQ by AA test. Now as the triangles are similar, okay, as the triangles are similar by AA test, now can we say that area of triangle ABC upon area of triangle APQ equal to AB upon AP bracket square? Okay, now this property is nothing but ratio of areas of similar triangles. Okay, now see what we are doing, students. We have area of triangle ABC over here. Okay, we took that as 2x, and area of triangle APQ we have here, that we took it as Okay, so the next step is going to be 2x upon x. Okay, we are just putting the values, that is equals to AB upon AP bracket square. Now what I see is x will cancel. Okay, just a minute. So we see that x will cancel. So what I get is AB upon AP bracket square equals to 2. Okay, AB upon AP bracket square equals to 2. So after taking square root, what we get? AB upon AP is root 2. AB upon AP is root 2. Okay, so we got the answer, but this answer is not in its final form, students. If you see, the question is you have to find out BP upon AB. Okay, BP upon AB. So let us do that important part, students. Okay, I'll put a bracket over here. Okay, and this is the answer what we got. AB upon AP equals to root 2. Okay, now let me write that root 2 as root 2 upon 1 so that it forms a fraction. Okay, now if two numbers are in the ratio root 2 and 1, so can I take AB as root 2y and AP as 1y, or only y? So we are splitting the ratio. So when you split the ratio, okay, in the two terms, you have to multiply each term of the ratio by a constant. So here we are taking that as y. X already we took up, so I'm not taking x again. You can take any other variable. Okay, now why we are doing that? Now see the figure, students. Okay, let me take this slightly up. Okay, now see in the main figure, students, let me remove all other things so that you can understand the concept. Okay, now in the figure, see this, AB is root 2y and AP, this part is y. So how much will be BP? How much will be BP? So can I say BP is nothing but AB minus AP, that is root 2y minus y. Taking y common, I will get root 2 minus 1 into y. Okay, yes, root 2 minus 1 into y. Clear? Okay, now last step and the sum is over. Now the question says that we have to find the ratio of BP upon AB. BP upon AB. So how much is BP? We got root 2 minus 1y upon AB. We already have, that is root 2y. So here y and y will cancel. The final answer what we get is root 2 minus 1 upon 2. So this is the final answer. What is that? BP upon AB is equals to root 2 minus 1 upon root 2. And this is what we have to find out. Okay, yes, a very important sum, students, for 4 marks. Okay, okay, students, so let's see the next one. The next one is we have to draw a circle of radius 2.7. okay, and in that we have to draw a chord PQ of 4.5 centimeters, and from P and Q we have to draw tangents without using the center. Yes, so this construction is without using the center. So how do we do it? Let's see. Students, let us draw a circle of radius 2.7 centimeters. Okay, so I've already measured 2.7 centimeters. So I'm drawing a circle with radius 2.7. Yes, so this is a radius, a circle of radius 2.7. Now the next thing they have told is we have to draw a chord PQ of length 4.5. So let me take point P anywhere on the circle. Now I'll measure 4.5, and from point Q I will cut an, from point P I will cut an arc. So this is point Q. So now we have a chord PQ of length 4.5 centimeters. Okay, and the question says that we have to draw tangents from P and Q without using the center. So for that we have to construct a triangle with two of its vertices at as P and Q. So let me name this point as R. Okay, so now we have to construct tangents from P and Q, but we are not using the center. Okay, so the procedure is this way. From R we have to cut an arc of any measure. I'm cutting an arc of any measure. With the same measure from P I have to cut an arc, and from Q I have to cut an arc. Okay, with the same measure we are cutting arcs from P and Q. Now I have to measure this particular angle. This I'm measuring this angle with the same measure. From this particular point I'm cutting an arc. So from this point I'll cut an arc with the same measure. From this point I'm cutting an arc. Okay, so now when you join Q and the arc, we get the first tangent, and when you join P and the arc, we get the second tangent. So basically what we did, students, we constructed this arc and this arc, means this angle and this angle equal, and we constructed this angle and this angle equal. This particular property is called as angles in alternate segments. Okay, so let me name this point as A. So the footnote is PA and PQ are the required tangents. Okay, so this is how we draw without using the center. Okay, students, so I hope you have understood how do we do construction of tangents without using the center. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, sum number 3. We have a square. Okay, ABCD is a square whose side is 50, and we have to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, now just see the figure. We are drawing 4 sectors whose angle is 90. Central angle is 90. You can even call it as a quadrant. Okay, I'll write it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yes. From each vertices of a square. So the side of the square is 50. So the radius is going to be 25, half of it. Okay, so see what I'm writing. Side of a square equals to 50 centimeters. Therefore, radius of each sector equals to half of 50, that is 25 centimeters. Okay, and the question is we have to find area of the shaded region. Now if you see, there are total 4 sectors drawn. So if I remove those 4 sectors from the square, I will get area of the shaded part. So see what I'm writing, area of shaded part equal to area of square minus 4 into area of sector. Okay, I directly wrote the formula. Now I'm going to substitute the values after writing the formulae of respective terms. Okay, so area of square is nothing but side square minus 4 into area of sector is theta upon 360 pi r square. So side is 50, so 50 square, 4 into theta is 90 because it is a square, so each angle is 90, 360. The value of pi is not given in the question, so we have to take it as 22/7. radius is 25 square. Okay, so let us first reduce what we can. This is 1 4 4 and 4 will also cancel. Now actually what happens, student, is when you take 4 quadrants it forms a circle. Okay, so this is what we got here. So 50 square is 2500 minus what I get is 22 into 625 upon 7. Okay, so the next step is we'll do LCM upon 7. So what will happen is this is into 7 into 7, so that is 2500 into 7 is going to be 17500 minus 22 into 625, that is going to be 13750 upon 7 as it is. So let us subtract. We get answer as 3750 upon 7 centimeter square. So this is the final answer. Okay, you can convert it to mixed fraction or you can even keep it in improper fraction. Okay, 3750 upon 7. So this is nothing but the area of the shaded part. Okay, and yes, the units are meters, students, so I will take meters here. Okay, meter square. Okay, so this is how we find area of the shaded part. Okay, so students, now let's see the last question, question number 5. Yes, this is again an important sum. So we have 3 externally touching circles with centers ABC. I have already done the figure and they have given the values of AB, BC and AC, the 3 sides, and you have to find out the radii of each circle. Now carefully have a look at the diagram, students. So let us first see the circle with center A. Okay, now I am marking these two equal. These are nothing but the radii of the circle with center A. Now see the circle with center B. I am marking these two equal. I'll write over here y and y. These are nothing but the radii of the same circle. Now see circle with center C. I'm marking these two equal. I'll write over here z and z. Okay, so these are nothing but the radii of equal circle, same circle, sorry. Okay, now see the figure and see what I'm writing. Now they have given AB as 3 centimeters. So if I see the figure AB, so can I say AB from the figure as x plus y equal to 3? I'll mark it as 1. Next is BC. BC is again given as 3 centimeters. Again see the figure, students. BC is nothing but y plus z, that is 3 centimeters. I'll mark it as 2. AC is 4 centimeters. Let's see the figure. Again AC is nothing but x plus z is 4 centimeters. Okay. Now students, the property what we are using over here, okay, that is nothing but externally touching circles. Okay, externally touching circles. So for all this we have to write down the reason as externally touching circles. Okay, so now we know that x, y, z are nothing but the radii of each circle. Okay, now let me take the screen up. Now what we have over here is, students, we have 3 equations and 3 variables. Yes, we have to find x, y, z and we have 3 equations. Okay, so what is the easiest way to do this? Let's see. Now the first step, what I'm doing is adding all the 3 equations. 1, 2, 3. So if I add 1, 2, 3, so what I'll get? Let us first write down all the left hand sides. x plus y plus y plus z plus x plus z equal to 10. Okay, so I added all the left hand side, and the right hand side is 3 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. So this is 10 as it is. What I see over here is everything is double, x plus x, y plus y, z plus z. So it is 2x plus 2y plus 2z. I am taking 2 common, x plus y plus z equals to 10. After shifting 2, what I get is x plus y plus z equals to 5. So what I see is I get one more equation. I get one more equation having all the 3 variables. Okay, fine, no problem. Now just see the first equation. In the first equation, what I see is x plus y is 3. Okay, now come back to the equation. What we got here, x plus y is 3. X plus y is 3. So instead of x plus y, I'm writing 3. So 3 plus z equal to 5. After shifting, I get z as 2. I get z as 2. Okay, so what is z? This is nothing but the radius of one of the circles. So I got the value of z. Okay, now what to do? This value of z, I'm going to substitute in second equation. What is that? Y plus z equal to 3. So the value of z is 2 equal to 3. If I shift, I get value of y as 1. So what is this? I got the radius of the second circle. Now I have to find x. I can use equation 1 or I can use equation 3. So let me use equation 1, that is x plus y equal to 3, x plus 1 equal to 3, x equals to 2. So I got the radius as. So my final answer is the radii of the circles are 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, and 2 centimeter. Okay, 1, 2, and 2. This is how we do the sum. Okay. Now the last sum, students. Yes. They have given if sine theta plus sine square theta is 1, we have to show that cos square theta plus cos raised to 4 theta is 1. Okay, so they have given this. If this part is given, so let us start with that. Sine theta plus sine square theta equal to 1. This is given. Okay, so let me write the left hand side again. Sine theta plus sine square theta equal to, now instead of 1, can I write the identity sine square theta plus cos square theta? Reason is what? Sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Instead of 1, I'm writing that. Okay, now what I see is on the either side, we have sine square theta, sine square theta. So instead of shifting, I can just remove this. Okay, so what I get is sine theta equal to cos square theta. I'll mark this as 1. Okay, so this is the result what I got from what is given to us. Now we have to show. What do you have to show? That cos square theta plus cos raised to 4 theta is 1. So let me start with LHS. What is LHS? Cos square theta plus cos raised to 4 theta. Okay, so let me write this cos square theta as it is. Now can I write cos raised to 4 theta as cos square theta square? Yes, cos square theta square. Cos square theta as it is. Now see statement 1. We proved that cos square theta is nothing but sine theta. So here instead of cos square theta, I'm writing sine theta, and there is bracket square, so it will come sine square theta, and we know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1, and that is nothing but RHS. Okay, so students, with this we finish with the last sum also. Okay.